Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to test flight in the F-86 Sabre. And at this point, I am now on approach to the final destination here, Sanaki Kolki Air Base. I'm going to do a quick touch and go, however, out here at an airfield just short of that. And which airfield are you? Let's see, you are going to be Kutaisi, yes, Kutaisi Airfield. So I'm going to do a touch and go out there. I need to tune to channel 10. I'm going to go ahead and call inbound to Kutaisi. So ATC, Kutaisi inbound.
Infield 1-1, inbound. Airfield 1-1, Kutaisi, 56272, 435, QSC 297877, runway 08.
Okay, 08, so let me go ahead and pull the throttle in and again start to descend into this area. Yeah, from here on out it's all familiar landmarks. I got the river going down to Poti, down there in the, actually just south of Poti. Got Batumi Airfield out there to the left, out there beyond that terrain. Okay, so let me get back, get organized here. Okay, for this approach, let me see, I'm down to, about 700 pounds of fuel, which is still plenty to make it back. So, landing data. This approach, I want to fly it at about 140, yeah, about 140 knots. Touchdown expected 116, stall speed expected 107. So 140 on the approach, 116 for the touchdown. I'm going to do it just like I did the last one, just kind of fly it in there and before touchdown, advance the throttles back to full, retract my speed brakes, and retract my gear, retract my flaps. Okay, so I should be able to pick it up visually, actually. It's not quite as dark as I was hoping it would be by this time. I don't think I'm going to be able to... I would just hold out here and wait for it to get dark, but I don't think I'm going to have time to do that. So, okay, field in sight. Yeah, and the ADF navigation has just been working beautifully. The trick is just to identify the field, have some idea of what the direction it should be in, and have a good idea of what the Morse code signal that you're going to be looking for is. Okay, so we're going to pull in the speed brakes and go ahead and set this up in a little bit more aggressive of a dive. I'll play around with the lighting some more. It's getting dark enough so that some of the cockpit lighting is starting to show up. It's a little too bright. Okay, that'll work. Our wingman is back there somewhere, probably worried about fuel state and such other trivialities at this point, since we are right here at the airfield area and I can probably see Sanaki Kolki if I put my mind to it out there in the distance. Should be right there. Yeah, I can barely make it out. Okay. So it'll just be a touch and go at this airfield, then just straight in to Sanaki Kolki. But okay, I'll just kind of continue diving, or continue descending. I'm not going to dive on this one. Okay, a little over 200 knots. Let me just go and sort of get a little bit more organized here. Before landing, armor switch is off. Okay, let me verify that. Got it, got it, got it. Gun sight caging lever cage, got it. Hydraulic pressure normal, yep, confirmed. Oxygen normal. NAI screen extend, I'm going to get that. Okay, that is extended. Now it's extended. And windshield anti-icing lever on, speed brake out. Landing gear, flap levers down, good indications, downwind final, throttle shutdown, okay? Got that, and just to look ahead, what is the Kutaisi? Okay, then to channel 2. For comm once I'm done with this close approach. Okay, so got that. And let me just go ahead and bring her on down. Still got plenty of fuel, 600 pounds. There's a smaller airfield. That's not the one that I'm looking for, though. Kutaisi would be, yeah, right back there. Okay, 300 knots, Mach 0.6, still a respectable speed, especially in this dive. So we'll just come out here, level off, and continue the approach. Okay, 300 knots, indicated at least, and still about 0.58 Mach. Altitude coming through 10,000 feet. So hook up my lanyard at this point. And incidentally, there's a little D-ring lanyard you hook up down there that would, under 10,000 feet, would ensure like a positive release on part of the parachute system. I'd have to read up on that part of the egress system again, but I always remember from all the old books, and I think in some of the movies too, always hook up your lanyard below 10,000. Okay, 300 knots. And I'll just come around one more time and just like I did last time, just do a quick 360 to bleed off additional airspeed. Okay, clear visual. Let me contact the tower. Request landing, please.
Kutasi, infield 1-1, request landing.
Okay, 200 knots. And I'll get an acknowledgement on that once I'm a little bit closer in. Okay, 180, I'll go ahead and go flaps down. And I'll go gear down. And I'll be standing by and let me push the throttles back up. I already forget what speed I had designated as my approach speed. Let me see, that'd be about 140, a little under 140. Touchdown expected 115. Okay, gotcha, so stow it. Okay, and I'm directly overhead the beacon that I was using for navigation. Okay, 135, let me push it up just a touch. Yeah, this is a good approach speed. Okay, I'm a little bit further out than I thought I was going to be. But I'll just continue on the approach and take it straight in just like this. Yep, sun's finally down. And 2 is forming back up and is going to do this probably like... No, I wonder last time if it was actually trying to land or if it just had... Or if it was just configured to stay in formation on me. I have no idea, but let me go ahead and go landing lights on. Okay, 140. Boy, it holds airspeed. Once you get it trimmed out on the approach, it just locks into that airspeed once you set your throttle and have an adequate glide path set up. Okay, yeah, 2's just going to hold out there in the distance. Watch as I do this, and... Okay, just a touch steep, but that's okay on this one. Okay, 130, 140... Bring it down just a little bit more aggressively. Hey, clean up my cockpit one more time. I've been bad on this mission about missing little things. Like the... Let's see, yeah, like I've got my... that to extend, I got my landing lights on, got my pitot probe, pitot heaters on. Okay, so I'll just take it straight in. I'm going to be a little bit long on the landing here, but that's okay. Or the landing, but not the landing, but the... Yeah, I'm just set up a little bit steep. Okay, we're still at about 138. Correct, just a touch to the left. This will be a little bit trickier once I get some wind into one of these missions. Okay, 138. Okay, very cool. Got the landing light effect coming in. Okay, let me flare. I would be looking for about 120 something on the touchdown. But I'm going to go throttle max, speed brakes in, gear up, and flaps up. Okay, yeah, very nice. 2 is right there in formation. Now I gotta watch that trim on the, once I get those flaps up. But let me go ahead and go to position 2. And I'll go ahead and set it up and land back at Sanaki Kolki if I can find position 2 and not crash at the same time. Okay, position 2, let me go ATC. And let's see here, back out of that, ATC, not Katasi, let me go back. I want Kolki, inbound.
Infield, 1-1, inbound.
And for this one, yeah, I can do this visually, it's still light enough out, I'm just going to turn my ADF receiver off. It's very possible that I know I had to manually set in the mission editor the ATC frequency for Kolki. It's very possible that when I recreated this mission for the homeward bound leg that I didn't do that, so I'll take that as good, and I'm just going to take it straight in right here on the runway, runway 1, what is that, 127? Okay, so speed brakes out. Let me go ahead and pull my throttle in and get set up on the appropriate path here. I'll just go ahead and do a complete overhead. I've got enough light out here to do an overhead, so let me go speed brakes back in. I'll just continue inbound to Sanaki Kolki. And 2, if I can talk to you, let me go ahead and send you home. So I know before I was just getting nothing from 2. Let me go to return to base.
RTB.
Okay, now 2's back up and running. Yeah, I wonder why that wasn't working before. Okay, so back to position 2 for the ATC at Sanaki Kolki. And okay, everything's still looking good. 450 knots, so I can go ahead and pull that back in. Got plenty of airspeed to make it all the way in, and actually that's about perfect. 300 pounds of fuel. Yeah, so this should be very, very responsive on the roll. So okay, 135, 112. 135, 112. Gotcha. Okay, let me go speed brakes out just to kill some of this airspeed. And then when I'm overhead the touchdown point, I'll enter the brake. Okay, speed brakes back in, kick the speed brakes back out again, and then configure for landing once I'm on the downwind. Okay, so it should be approaching the appropriate point. I'm gonna give myself plenty of room this time. I think I turned inbound a little bit early and ended up a little bit steep on the approach last time. Okay, so let's brake. Speed brakes out. Okay, watching my airspeed, 200 knots. And at about 160 on the downwind, I'll go flaps down. Okay, let's do that now. Flaps down. Okay, let me go gear down. Okay, throttle's back up for 130 knots. Okay, a little more throttle. Yeah, perfect. Okay. And heading 09, yep, that's, well, hit that pretty much dead on. Okay, 090, I'll turn back around, 270 will be the runway heading. Okay, so we've got flaps down, confirmed, gear down, got it. I'll maintain it a little bit more level, I'm descending slightly. I'll give it a little bit more just to make sure that I'm on glide path when I roll out on final. Okay, looks good. Let me roll back out, turn to final. Okay, 120, let my airspeed go down about 10 knots lower than I wanted. Let me push it back up slightly. Okay, back on 130. Yeah, very smooth as it comes around. I was expecting it to tend to bleed off airspeed a lot more than it does, but it holds airspeed very well. Okay, 140. Let me pull the throttle back in just a touch. Let me roll out. Okay, that's a lot better that time. That's exactly the setup that I wanted. Okay, let me just watch the airspeed, and I'm looking for... At the end of a long mission, my memory ain't what it used to be. Okay, 112 on the touchdown. Okay, that'll work. Correct back to the right just a touch, get her back on center line. A little bit of throttle. Okay, about 125. Okay, let me bring her down. Okay, flare, throttle's in. Touchdown, right on speed. Okay, I'll take that any day. Did I not turn on my landing lights this time? I did, but I don't have any lights. I'm just going to let it roll on out. I've got my nose wheel steering engaged right now. I'm going to roll it out to the end of the runway and taxi off to the right. That's exactly where my parking spot is. So I'm just going to do some very, very light taps of the brake just to kill the speed. I don't want to do full braking at all if I can help it. Just lightly tapping the brakes just to kill a little bit of speed until I get down to the end of the runway. I wish I had those taxi lights on. I'll figure out what's going on with that in here in a little bit. Okay, that's the... Okay, I missed it slightly. Or did I? Now, here we go. Taxi back off here to the... right. Yeah, that's my parking spot right there. I thought I had timed that correctly. Okay, let's go ahead and taxi on off. Okay, taxi lights, why are you not on? Yeah, let me go ahead and get set up in parking, then I'll figure that out. Or I take that back. Maybe I did miss my desired spot. Oh well, doesn't really matter. Okay, right about here is just fine. Okay, so let me just bring it in right here, and I'm going to shut it down right here because I am beat. Okay, off, back on. I don't know. Well, yeah, I guess it is pointing down. It's just not... Yeah, it's just not as much lighting as I was expecting on the taxi. Okay. That's probably not... No, that's not really fully extended or what I would expect, but... Okay, anyway, I'll take that. Okay, let me pull up my checklist and get this thing shut down so I can move on to some bombing. I'm ready to bomb something. Okay, so let's go into... Okay, stopping engine, toe brakes, 65 to 70% for 2 minutes on my engine, then throttle off, engine master switch off, speed brake out. First, let me go ahead and pull up my flaps. And set that back to the hold position. Okay, let me see, what else around the cockpit do I want to turn off? Let's see, I'll go ahead and go off on my radio. Okay, all this stuff can stay as is. Okay, I've already got my armament switches off. Already got all this stuff done. Already got... Yep, everything is where it needs to be. Okay, let me go throttle idle. Let me go throttle off. Engine master switch off. Battery off. Okay, cycle stick. Let me bleed off my hydraulics. Let me go emergency override handle out. Cycle again to bleed off the alternate system. Okay, there we go. And handle back in. Safety pins, drop tank all off. Okay, let me get that. Oh, that's right, I had jettisoned that drop tank before and had got that already. Okay, rudder gust lock, main gear is chocked. And that's it. Let me get the canopy open. And there you go. That is... that's a long mission. But yeah, navigation. I think I've got that nailed now, and that's how you navigate in a F-86. It's all about just visual and radio navigation. So no fancy dials, no fancy indicators, which is the way that I like to do it. It's actually a lot of fun to do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to call this one good here, folks, and come back next time with bombing and employment of the aircraft in the air-to-ground role. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.